The Lost Civilization of the Indus Valley Sea. Listen closely. I am about to take you back more than 4,500 years. To a world where rivers sparkled like silver under the morning sun. And the very idea of a city was being born. Between two mighty rivers, the Indus and the mysterious Saraswati, rose a civilization so advanced, so organized, that even modern cities would marvel at it. This is the story of the Indus Valley Civilization, also called the Harappa and civilization between 2500 BCE and 1500 BC. It is a story not of kings and battles, but of ordinary people, farmers, craftsmen, merchants, and visionaries who built a society that thrived in harmony with nature and each other. Punchline. These rivers didn't just bring water. They brought life, knowledge, and the foundation of urban civilization. Scene 1. See life along the rivers. Picture this. Early morning. A soft mist rises over the plains. Fishermen cast their nets into sparkling waters. Women carry clay pots on their heads to fetch water. And children run along the banks, laughing, chasing ducks, and making mud toys. The air is filled with the hum of life, cows lowing, chickens clucking, and merchants calling out their wares. Life was simple, yet purposeful. The rivers were the lifelines of this civilization, providing fertile soil, water, and a connection to distant lands. Here, humans first began to shape their environment with imagination and foresight. Mini story. A young boy named Ravi points to the river and says, "Mother, look, the water flows straight into our field." His mother smiles. "That's because our city planners thought of everything. Even for you, my son." Scene to see birth of the first cities. From scattered villages emerged cities that were marvels of planning. Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro rose as jewels of the Indus plains. Imagine streets laid out in perfect grids. Houses built of uniform baked bricks, each with a courtyard and private well. Public baths were meticulously constructed. Covered drains carried water away, keeping the streets clean and the city hygienic. Punchline. Thousands of years before many other civilizations, the Harappans had mastered the art of urban living. Mini story. A child marvels at the streets and says, "Everything is so straight and clean." An elder replies, "It is our way. A city built for everyone, where every person matters." Scene 3. See daily life of the Harappans. Let us step into a Harappan home. Women grind grains on stone mills, weave cotton into cloth, or cook over clay ovens. Men head to the fields, sowing wheat, barley, and cotton, tending cattle, or working on city projects. Children play in the courtyards, helping when needed and learning from elders. Every day was filled with skill, purpose, and rhythm. Life, work, and learning were intertwined seamlessly. Punchline. Every street, every house, every hand had a role and every role mattered. Mini story. One morning, a mother tells her child, "Today you will help me weave cotton." The child replies, "Then I can sell it in the market." She smiles. "Yes, but only after you learn the craft." Knowledge passed from generation to generation was as valuable as gold. Scene 4. See crafts and artisans. The Harappans were master craftsmen. They created terracotta figurines, pottery, beads, and jewelry with astonishing skill. Gold, silver, and semi-precious stones were used not just for decoration, but as a display of social identity and trade value. Every object told a story, from the humble pot to intricately carved seals. Punchline. Where we now send emojis. The Harappans pressed their messages into clay seals. Mini story. A young apprentice watches his father carve a seal and asks, "Why animals?" The father replies, "Because every creature has meaning. And one day, the seal will travel far beyond our city." Scene 5. See trade and economy. Trade was the heartbeat of the civilization. Merchants exported cotton, beads, and pottery to Mesopotamia and other distant lands, while importing copper, silver, and luxury items. Standardized weights and measures ensured fairness. Rivers served as highways for goods, connecting cities and kingdoms. The Harappa understood commerce as a science, balancing precision with creativity. Punchline. 4,500 years ago, their trade networks spanned continents, long before modern logistics. Mini story. A merchant instructs his son, every bead must be the same weight. Otherwise, buyers will notice the boy nods. Learning discipline, precision, and responsibility. Scene 6C. Writing and communication. The Harappa developed a script, symbols etched into clay seals, pottery, and tablets, though still undeciphered. These inscriptions suggest a society aware of the power of written communication. Perhaps they recorded trade, laws, or even poetry. Punchline. Their symbols whisper across millennia. We lived. We built. We thought. Listen. Scene 7C. Religion and spirituality. Spiritual life revolved around nature and fertility. Mother goddess figurines, animals, and phallic symbols point to rituals that celebrated life and growth. Some seals depict a horned figure in meditation, hinting at early proto-Shiva worship. Seasonal festivals marked harvests and river cycles, blending the sacred with daily life. Mini story. A priest teaches children, the river is our lifeline. Respect it. Care for it. And it will care for you. One child asks, why so important? He smiles. Because it gives life. And life is everything. Scene 8C. Technology and innovation. Harappa and cities showcase engineering brilliance. Advanced drainage systems, public baths, and water management reflect meticulous planning. Metallurgy was sophisticated. Copper, bronze, and gold tools, vessels, and ornaments were expertly made. Standardized weights and uniform pottery show precision and foresight. Punchline. Their technology wasn't flashy. It was practical, efficient, and ahead of its time. Scene 9C. Society and governance. While there is little evidence of kings, the uniformity of city planning suggests organized governance. Labor was coordinated, trade was regulated, and resources were managed collectively. Social harmony was key. Every member of the community had a role. Mini story. An elder explains to a group of young apprentices, no one is too small to matter. Every brick you lay, every pot you make, helps the city survive and thrive. Scene 10C. Art and culture. C. Art in the Indus Valley was not just decoration. It was woven into every aspect of life. Terracotta figurines of animals and humans adorned homes, representing daily life, rituals, and beliefs. Miniature carts made of clay weren't just toys. They taught children about trade, transport, and responsibility from a very young age. Jewelry wasn't simply for beauty, it was a symbol of social identity, skill, and cultural pride. Pause. Imagine a courtyard bustling with artisans. A mother shows her daughter how to mold clay into small figurines of cows and bulls. The daughter asks, "Mother, why do we make so many animals?" Her mother replies, "Each animal has a story. They are part of our life, our work, our gods, and even our dreams." Slow children learned about balance, symmetry, and creativity through play. Every bead, every pot, every carving reflected hours of patience and observation. Music and dance were likely integral as well. While no instruments have survived fully intact, depictions on seals suggest rhythmic drums, clappers, and songs during festivals. Even without modern instruments, the pulse of art moved through the city, shaping its culture and connecting its people. Punchline. Here, art wasn't optional, it was life itself. From the youngest child to the oldest artisan, Creativity was a lesson, a skill, and a joy. Pause. Mini story. On festival days, the streets of Mohenjo-Daro came alive. Children carried clay animals to the marketplace. Women wore freshly woven cotton with beads and ornaments. And elders told stories of gods, rivers, and heroes. The air was filled with laughter, music, and the scent of clay and baked bread. Every movement, every song, every gesture was a celebration of life and community. Slow. The architecture itself was art. Houses had courtyards, some with raised platforms for rituals, and walls sometimes adorned with painted patterns. Public baths were meticulously designed, showing an understanding of proportion and aesthetics. The blend of functionality and beauty reflected a culture that valued both daily living and spiritual or aesthetic expression equally. Scene 11. Decline of the civilization. Around 1900 BC, signs of change began to appear. Pause. Rivers shifted, sometimes drying up parts of fertile land. Crops failed. Trade slowed. Cities that once hummed with life grew quieter. Slow. Scholars debate the reasons. Was it climate change, overuse of the land, shifting river courses, or invasions? Perhaps all of these forces combined. Imagine Mohenjo-Daro at its peak: children playing, merchants selling beads, women grinding grain, and then slowly, over decades, streets became empty, houses crumbled, and workshops fell silent. Nature started reclaiming the city. Grass and sand crept into courtyards, and the Indus flowed silently past abandoned walls. Punchline. Even the most advanced civilization can fade when harmony with nature falters. Pause. Mini story. An elder once taught his grandchildren to respect the river, to work the land wisely, and to trade fairly. Slow. But over years, the river moved. The soil became less fertile, and the lessons of the elders were not enough to sustain the cities. Children who once played in courtyards now ran to distant villages in search of food. Families packed up their few belongings and left. Streets that had echoed with life for centuries grew silent. Pause. The abandonment wasn't sudden, it was gradual. Some smaller towns may have persisted longer, but the grand cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro eventually became ruins. Yet, even in decline, the imprints of their ingenuity remained. The streets, the wells, the granaries, the baths, all silent witnesses to a civilization that had once flourished in remarkable harmony with nature and society. Punchline. The silence of the ruins speaks louder than any words. We thrived, we built, and we left lessons for the future. Slow. Scene 12. Rediscovery and legacy. Centuries later, in the 1920s, archaeologists stumbled upon these lost cities buried under layers of soil and sand. Pause. Imagine their awe. Streets laid out in perfect grids, houses made of uniform baked bricks, public baths, granaries, and mysterious seals with symbols no one could yet decipher. Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa were no longer myths, they were real, tangible, and astonishingly advanced. Today, we can walk through the ruins and feel the pulse of a lost civilization. Every artifact tells a story. Beads that traveled across continents, clay seals that carried messages, pottery that sustained families, and figurines that captured beliefs. Scholars realized that the Harappa had mastered urban planning, trade, art, and technology centuries before many other civilizations. Punchline. The Indus Valley Civilization wasn't just ancient history, it was a blueprint for urban life, community, and sustainability. Pause. Mini story. Close your eyes and imagine an archaeologist brushing away centuries of dust from a terracotta bowl. He lifts it and says, "This was made by a child, a mother, or an artisan thousands of years ago." Slow. In that moment, he is connected to people long gone, people who dreamed, built, and lived with purpose. Their legacy extends beyond ruins. Pause. Modern urban planners study their drainage systems, Artists study their seals and figurines. Historians marvel at their trade networks and social organization. And perhaps most importantly, the Harappa teach us that living in balance with nature, planning for the community, and nurturing creativity are values that never grow old. Punchline. The Harappa left behind a story that still whispers across millennia. Dream, build, create, and live in harmony. Slow closing scene. Now, picture Mohenjo-Daro at its peak. Children laughing in sunlit courtyards. Merchants calling out their wares. Artisans shaping clay with skillful hands. And the Indus River flowing gently past the city walls. Pause here, the hum of daily life, the grinding of grain, the clinking of beads, the songs of celebration. The Indus Valley Civilization is not just history. Slow, it is a window into the hearts and minds of people who dreamed big, lived wisely, and left behind a legacy of ingenuity, resilience, and harmony. Final punchline. Thousands of years later, their story still calls to us. Learn, build, respect, and thrive together. Pause. This was today's story on Sleepless History. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next fascinating tale. Until then, good night.